What if one small daily decision is silently draining your energy? Not a life changing decision, not whether to quit your job, not whether to move to a new city, not whether to start over, something much smaller. What should I wear today? Should I check my phone now? Should I reply to this message? Should I open Instagram for just 1 minute? These choices look harmless. They feel too small to matter, but every day they quietly take a little piece of your focus. And by the time you finally sit down to do the thing that truly matters, your mind already feels tired. Steve Jobs seemed to understand this better than most people. When people think of Steve Jobs, they usually think of Apple, the iPhone, the Mac, the stage presentations, the black turtleneck, the obsession with design. But behind all of that was something deeper. Jobs was not just obsessed with creating beautiful things. He was obsessed with removing unnecessary things. He believed that focus was not about saying yes to everything. It was about saying no to almost everything that did not matter. And that idea did not only show up in Apple's products, it showed up in the way he lived. For years, Steve Jobs became known for wearing almost the same outfit again and again, a black mock turtleneck, jeans, and sneakers. To some people, it looked like a style choice. To others, it looked like branding. And maybe it was partly both. But there was also something very practical about it. He did not want to waste mental energy deciding what to wear every day. Now, this does not mean everyone should wear the same black shirt every day. That is not the lesson. The lesson is not about copying Steve Jobs' wardrobe. The lesson is about asking a better question. Which small decisions in my life are quietly stealing energy from the big things I care about? Because most people do not lose focus all at once. They lose it slowly, one small decision at a time. The alarm rings. You open your eyes. And before your feet even touch the floor, your brain is already working. Should I snooze? What should I wear? Did anyone message me? What do I need to finish today? None of these questions feel heavy alone, but together they become mental weight. It is like carrying a bag and adding one small stone every few minutes. One stone feels like nothing. 10 stones still feel manageable, but by the end of the day, the bag becomes heavy, and you do not even know why. That is how unnecessary decisions work. They do not attack your life loudly. They drain you quietly, and sometimes we mistake that tiredness for laziness. We say, I don't have discipline. We say, I'm not motivated. We say, maybe I'm just not focused enough. But sometimes the problem is not weakness. Sometimes your mind has simply been spending energy on things that should have been simple. Have you ever reached the end of the day feeling busy, but unable to remember what you actually accomplished? You answered messages. You checked updates. You made small choices. You reacted to whatever came next. But somehow, the one thing that mattered most stayed untouched. That feeling is not always laziness. Sometimes it is scattered energy. And this is where the idea of decision fatigue becomes important. Decision fatigue means that every decision uses a little mental energy. At the beginning of the day, your mind may feel fresh. But as the day goes on, every small choice takes something from you. After enough decisions, the brain starts looking for the easiest option. That is why you might plan to eat healthy in the morning, but at night you reach for snacks. That is why you might promise to sleep early, but later you keep scrolling. That is why you might open your laptop to work, but suddenly feel too tired to begin. Your mind is not always refusing the work. Sometimes it is just tired from choosing. Think about your phone. If too many apps are open, videos are playing, the brightness is high, and everything is running in the background, the battery drains faster. Nothing is broken. The phone is simply using power everywhere. Your mind works in a similar way. Every open decision is like an app running in the background, and suddenly your mental battery is low before the real work even begins. But Steve Jobs did not apply this idea only to his clothes. He applied it to Apple. When Steve Jobs walked back into Apple in 1997, the company was not short on ideas. It was drowning in them. Imagine walking into one of the world's most famous companies and realizing the biggest problem was not a lack of creativity. It was too much noise, too many products, too many models, too many directions, too many teams pulling the company in different ways. Apple had ideas everywhere, but it had lost clarity. And when everything is important, nothing feels important. Jobs looked at the company and did something many leaders are afraid to do. He cut things. He simplified the product line. He forced Apple to focus on fewer products instead of trying to do everything. That decision was not easy. Cutting things is painful. Every product has someone who believes in it. Every project has a team behind it. Every idea has a reason to exist. But focus requires sacrifice. You cannot protect your energy and keep every option open forever. And this was not just a business lesson. It was a life lesson. A company can become confused when it has too many products. A person can become confused when they have too many open decisions, too many goals, too many apps, too many notifications, too many half-started dreams, and then we wonder why we feel stuck. But the truth is simple. Focus is not only about working harder. Focus is about reducing the number of things pulling on you. This is why simple routines are powerful. A routine is not a boring prison. A good routine is freedom from repeated decision-making. When your morning has a simple structure, you do not need to ask yourself what to do first every day. When your work has a starting ritual, you do not need to wait until you feel motivated. When your phone has boundaries, you do not need to fight every notification in real time. The routine carries you when your mood is unreliable. And moods are always unreliable. Some mornings you feel strong. Some mornings you feel slow. Some days you feel confident. Some days you feel behind. If every important action depends on how you feel in the moment, your life becomes unstable. But when the decision is already made, you save energy. You just begin. And this is where the real change starts. You do not need to redesign your whole life. You do not need to become a minimalist. You do not need to live like Steve Jobs. You only need to notice where your attention is leaking. Maybe you choose your clothes the night before. Maybe you write down your first task before you sleep. Maybe you keep your phone away during your first hour of deep work. These are not dramatic changes, but they reduce friction, and friction is the reason many simple things feel hard. A small decision removed from your morning can give you back peace. A simple routine can give you back clarity. A quiet phone can give you back focus. And slowly your day starts feeling less scattered. Because your attention is not just a productivity tool. Your attention is your life. What you give attention to, you slowly become shaped by. If your attention is always scattered, your life will feel scattered. If your attention is always reacting, your life will feel reactive. But if your attention is protected, even an ordinary day starts to feel intentional. So maybe the next step is not to push harder. Maybe it is to remove one unnecessary decision. Prepare one outfit, turn off one notification, choose one important task. Make one part of your day lighter. Because when you waste less energy on small things, you finally have more strength for the things that matter. Lesson for today. Your biggest advantage is not always working harder. Sometimes your biggest advantage is wasting less energy. So before you ask, how can I do more? Ask yourself, what can I remove? Because your future will not be shaped only by the big decisions you make once in a lifetime. It will also be shaped by the small decisions you stop making every single day.